Welcome back to Building Better Relationships in Construction. I'm your host, Alex.
And I'm Sabrina. It's great to be back for episode 3. Today, we're diving into a concept that is honestly a complete game changer for anyone in this industry.
It really is. We're pulling from Chapter 3 of Paul Schwinghammer's groundbreaking book, Building Better Relationships, a guide to enhancing the customer experience for home builders, remodelers, and construction managers. And the topic is building your relationship bank account.
I love this metaphor so much because it's so visual. You can immediately grasp what it means. The core idea, as Paul lays it out, is that trust with a client isn't just a vague feeling. It functions exactly like a bank account.
Exactly. Every single thing you do, every phone call, every email, every decision on the job site, it's either a deposit or a withdrawal. And you have to manage that account because sooner or later, you're going to have to make a withdrawal.
Oh, absolutely. Withdrawals are inevitable. Construction is unpredictable. There will be delays. There will be miscommunications, unexpected problems. That's just the nature of the beast.
Right. So let's talk about the good stuff first. The deposits. Paul describes these as any positive action you take. For example, calling a client just to check in. Not because you need something, but just to see how they're feeling about the process.
Yeah. Or giving them an update when things are actually ahead of schedule. Imagine how that feels for a homeowner. They're so used to hearing about delays. Getting that call is a massive deposit. It shows you're on their side, you know?
And he points out that even quickly resolving a small issue, like a simple misunderstanding about a timeline, that's a deposit. You're not just managing a project, you're managing their emotional investment in you.
That's the key phrase right there, emotional investment. Because building or remodeling a home is incredibly personal and stressful for the client. So when you make these deposits, you're building trust, you're reinforcing their confidence that they picked the right person for the job.
Okay, so on the flip side, we have the withdrawals. And this is where it gets a little scary because they can happen so easily. A withdrawal is any time an expectation isn't met. It could be not returning a call as quickly as you said you would.
An email that goes unanswered for a day too long. You might think it's a small thing, but from the client's perspective, they're sitting there wondering, did they forget about me? Is my project not important? It starts to chip away at that trust.
Right. And if you get enough of those withdrawals, missed deadlines, a lack of transparency about an issue, unresolved problems, without enough deposits to balance it out, that account can get overdrawn.
And that's when trust snaps. That's when emotions take over and you go from being partners in a project to being adversaries. It's that moment where frustration and confrontation happen, and it's almost always because the relationship account is in the red.
This is the part of the chapter that really stood out to me. Paul mentions that some experts suggest you need to make at least 5 deposits for every one withdrawal.
5 to 1. I mean, that sounds intense, but when you think about it, it makes total sense. We are all wired to remember the negative experience more than the positive one, right?
It's a survival mechanism, yeah. You can do 10 things right, but the one thing that goes wrong is what sticks in the client's mind. That ratio just highlights how fragile trust can be and how much continuous effort it takes to maintain it.
Which brings us back to those inevitable problems. When an issue comes up, a subcontractor messes up, a material is backordered, whatever it is, it's the deposits you've already made that are going to carry you through. Paul calls it an emotional safety net.
I like that. An emotional safety net. The more deposits you've made, the bigger your cushion is to absorb a setback without the whole relationship falling apart. A client with a full bank account is much more likely to be patient, to be cooperative, and to work with you on a solution.
Exactly. They see you as a partner. But a client whose account is already overdrawn? That same exact problem. It's not a setback. It's a catastrophe. It's proof that you're incompetent or that you don't care. The context is completely different.
So, let's get practical. How can our listeners start making more effective deposits starting tomorrow? Paul lists several great strategies in the book. You want to take the first one?
Sure. The first one is a big one. Communicate regularly and transparently. This means keeping homeowners in the loop even when there's no real update. It's so tempting to just go dark until you have something major to report, but silence can be really unnerving for a client.
A simple, "Hey, just wanted to let you know the inspectors are scheduled for Thursday. Everything's on track," text. That takes 10 seconds, but it's a huge deposit. It shows you're thinking about them.
Totally. The second point kind of builds on that. Respond promptly to questions and concerns. Whether it's a call, a text, an email, getting back to them quickly shows respect. It says, your questions are valid and you are a priority.
Even if you don't have the answer yet. A quick, "Got your message. I'm looking into the specs on that faucet now, and I'll have an answer for you this afternoon," is a million times better than just waiting until the afternoon to reply. It manages their expectation.
Oh, 100%. The next one is about showing empathy and genuine care. This is crucial. You have to acknowledge the homeowner's feelings. Building is stressful. When there's a delay, you can't just state it as a fact. You have to say, "I know this delay is frustrating, and I am so sorry. Here's our plan to get back on track."
That little phrase, "I understand this is frustrating," it validates their feelings. It shows you're not a robot just executing a plan. You're a human being who gets it. That diffuses so much tension.
Right? And that connects to another one of Paul's points. Follow through on promises. This seems so basic, but it's the foundation of credibility. If you say you'll do something, do it. Every promise you keep is a deposit. Every one you break is a massive withdrawal.
It's your word, your reputation. Consistency is everything.
Here's a fun one he adds. Celebrate milestones. Building a house is a long, grueling process. So, recognize the small wins. When the foundation is poured, send a picture. When the framing is up, suggest they come walk through it. It reinforces progress and makes them feel part of a positive journey.
That's a great one. And finally, and this is maybe the most important when things go wrong, offer solutions, not excuses. When an issue comes up, the client doesn't want to hear whose fault it is. They want to hear what you're going to do about it.
Yes, taking ownership, even if it wasn't your direct fault, and focusing immediately on the fix, that builds incredible amounts of trust. It reinforces your integrity and shows you're in control. Excuses just sound like you're passing the buck.
So really, when you boil it all down, the biggest takeaway from Paul Schwinghammer's concept here is the power of intentionality. It's not about just hoping for a good relationship, it's about being deliberate.
Exactly. It's a mindset, viewing every single interaction, no matter how small, as an opportunity to make a deposit. When you make that a conscious practice, trust just becomes a natural result of how you operate day to day.
And that strong foundation will carry you through any storm the project throws at you. The ideas in this book are so fundamental to success in this business, which leads us to a quick reminder for all of you listening. Remember, you can purchase your copy of the groundbreaking book, Building Better Relationships, a guide to enhancing the customer experience for home builders, remodelers, and construction managers by author Paul Schwinghammer on Amazon and Barnes & Noble in multiple formats.
It is an invaluable resource, and we can't recommend it enough. That's all the time we have for today. Thanks for tuning in to Building Better Relationships in Construction. We'll be back next time for episode 4 entitled Small Issues and Big Relationships.
See you then.